Hello, very good to see everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, April 13th, and I'm a little bit hoarse today. I didn't realize how much I miss teaching and how when you're singing and drumming in schools all day, how strong your voice gets, and then when you don't for, almost a year, and that constant level, how ratchet your throat gets after just a full day of presenting and speaking and talking to little kids, which is super fun. But I'm really thankful and humbled to be here. Of course, another Tuesday. It's been over a year since I've been doing these, so this is pretty exciting. That I've pulled it off for the long haul, so that's pretty awesome. I always like to start just by acknowledging the land upon which we stand, because if you don't know where you are, then you don't know where you're going. I live here in Calgary, which was better known by the Blackfoot name Mohenstis, which means elbow. In Blackfoot, it's a confluence. That's where the Bow River and the Elbow River come together. And throughout the world, there's something really powerful about two bodies of water meeting, whether it be a river pouring itself into the ocean. There's a special kind of habitat that lives in that brine area, or whether it be two rivers coming together and just that energy of bringing those nations together through that confluence. It's really important. And I think that's that energy is really what's drawn me here to Calgary. I moved here when I was young, and then I keep moving away and coming back, moving away and coming back. There's something really special that just keeps drawing me back here. This is the place where I'm building community. This is where I'm building, friendships and people I consider my family. And I'm learning so much from elders, not from my nation, because I'm Cree, Anishinaabe, and Métis from Muskeg Lake, which is in Treaty 6 territory. But I learned so much from the elders that are in this area, from Blackfoot elders from Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani. So I honor all of those nations. I also learned quite a bit from some of the elders and knowledge keepers and artists from Tsuut'ina and the Stoney Nakoda, of course, from Morley, that's Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. I've learned a lot from elders up there, from knowledge keepers up there, from storytellers up there, but from the youth up there. They're just so amazing and resilient and strong, and it's just, they're so inspiring. And I think the next generation is the one that's going to be solving a lot of the problems, unfortunately, that, the last few generations have kind of made. But it gives me confidence when I see just how resilient they are, and how strong they can be when they come together and put aside their differences and say, you know what, it's not about which nation we're from, it's about how do we make the world a better place. And it's really beautiful to be able to see that. So just to welcome everybody into the circle today, I also wanted to acknowledge that we're walking in the footsteps of Métis Region 3. So when I was teaching little guys yesterday, I was like, the easiest way to remember that is you make an M with your finger. It's Métis Region 3, and that's the easiest way to remember where we are. And so I just wanted to acknowledge the land upon which we stand, acknowledge the relationships that we have built here. It's important to have a relationship with each other as well as to the land, because it's grounding, it's humbling. It reminds us that we're walking in the footsteps of our ancestors and other ancestors that have led us here. And there's so many teachings that we can learn about this land through those stories and through those ancestors and through those elders and knowledge keepers. And so when we keep humble, that's when we learn the most. Pardon me. And I also just wanted to acknowledge the responsibility that we have to learn from that past, to be able to, capture it and hold it tight and be able to share it for future generations, but also to honor and respect those future generations and the responsibility that we have to them to keep the world a better place. So I wanted to share the Cree Welcome Song. Traditionally, when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4 to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel, but this song is a little bit different. We sing it in rounds of 3 to keep the circle open and welcoming, so everyone completes the circle today, because in a circle we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end, no one is greater or less than anyone else in the circle, just like in the Hoop of Life. So it teaches us to honor each other for those differences, because if everybody was exactly the same, the world would be incredibly boring, and nothing would ever get done. So we The song really teaches us about honoring everybody's voice, everybody's talents, everybody's abilities in that circle. And sometimes when you meet someone, you might completely gloss over the fact that they're incredibly talented. They have something incredible that they can share with you and guide you on your journey. And if we dismiss people just by, the way they look or where they live or, who they love, then we're dismissing a huge part of how we can grow in our journey as well. So it's important to just honor everyone on our path. And so Mia Sin, which is the Cree welcome song, is from the Natahau family from Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation, and I'm very thankful and humbled that that family has kept this story alive and kept this song alive for many generations. Because again, for so many generations, we couldn't share our stories or our songs or speak our language. I'm trying to learn the language slowly but surely. It's really difficult. It's definitely a learning curve to learn Vedic Cree. So once I start tackling Cree, I'm hoping to start tackling Anishinaabe and Michif eventually, because I think it's important. It's important to bring back our languages and to carry those languages. There's power when we speak our language. There's the confidence in it, and when we look at those language structures, they're very different than that Latin-based language structure. They have more animation to them. It's not just a physical thing. That thing has a spirit, and it's describing the spirit of that thing. And so as I learn, it's just been such an enlightening process, and it's really been inspiring, not only to me, but I'm hoping to instill that in my children as well. And so, but I veered off before I sang the welcome song. And so, Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, we sing it in rounds of 3 to keep the circle open and welcoming, so everyone completes the circle. So throughout any event that I do, I love to share this song because it gives people permission to leave or to come in as they need to. And I think that's really important, is that freedom to be able to move, because now it's difficult to be able to move in a good way like we used to, for thousands of years before, for thousands of generations before. And I think that stagnance, being stuck in a place, doesn't give you the ability to learn or look past yourself. And so movement is really important, and this is why it's really important part of the song. And so Mia Sin doesn't just mean welcome, it also means beautiful. Mia Sin, Mia Sin, Hafsemina, Hafsemina, Epetakote, Niwagomagan, Hota, Homa, Kitaskino, Miasin, Miasen, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakote, Niwagomagan, Hota, Homa, Kitaskino, Miasin, Miasen, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakote, Niwagomagan, Hota, Homa, Kitaskino. Hi, and welcome everyone to the circle. So today I'm going to be talking very quickly about my medicines before we smudge. I'm not going to go deep into them because it takes a while. So, but I think it's important just to acknowledge all of the medicines before I get started. Whee! And you'll notice I kind of lay them all out. I always lay out my medicines even if I'm not using all of my medicines. Hi, Carolyn. Because it's important. It's important to acknowledge that balance. And so when I look at my medicine wheel and kind of the medicine wheel of everybody, it's really about honoring everything around us and everything within us. It's about balance. It's about moderation. It's about understanding that we are part of something bigger than us. And we have that medicine wheel within us and all around us. So we have grandfather sun in the east, grandmother moon in the west, and that in Cree, that's just that balance of that masculine and feminine. But it reminds us that we're a balance of both, and to honor that balance, because if we're too much at one thing, then we're going to be lopsided, and so that won't work. So this is why we always leave all of those medicines out, even when we use them. So I have sweetgrass in the east for my mind, for the power of fire, for our childhood. And for the springtime. Now, more than ever, it's really important to really honor sweetgrass because that's the time of the year that we're in now. We're going into the springtime. And we're hearing a lot of those changes that are happening in the earth outside. So I'm going to share a little bit of rattle teachings. I unfortunately don't have any rattles left. So I keep making rattles and then they just end up going away. So whether they be borrowed and then never returned, or just go missing at a rally, for example, or get used at an event, and then when I call the event to get it back, they're like, "Oh, we don't have that." So I have lost a lot of rattles. I think I am just incapable of holding on to a rattle, apparently. So I've made really, really beautiful rattles throughout the year, but they just always kind of wander away from me. But there's something really, really special about this time of year, specifically when we're making a rattle. But I'm going to share those teachings in a minute. Unfortunately, I can't share a rattle song with you because I don't have a rattle. So maybe that's what I'll make next week. We'll see what happens. But I just honor the sweetgrass for the guidance it gives us, especially this time of year. We're in that time of new beginnings, so sometimes we have to burn a little sweetgrass to figure out where we're going and where we want to head over the year that's to come, the next few years, the next few months leading us, into the summer and then eventually through the summer into the fall. We need a lot of direction this time of year because this is when we have the most movement. And there's a lot of new beginnings happening for me right now. So I'm going to be moving. Who knows where to? But so in the process of doing that. It'll definitely be in Calgary, though. So, Calgary is my home. I honor the cedar. I always lay out the cedar. I've been having quite a bit of cedar tea lately just because my throat has been so sore. And it really has helped me. Just like I could barely talk this morning. And now I can talk, so it's good. And I can sing, so that's great. But yeah, I swear by cedar for that. Because it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, has an antihistamine in it, which is great this time of year because I always get really wheezy and sniffly and sneezy this time of year because of allergies. So yeah, there's cedar. I honor my body, my physical body, my connection to the earth with that. I honor our adolescence with that, which is that transition time to figure out who we are. And so it really gives me that confidence to stay on my path. And we've got in the west, what I'll be using today is, oh my gosh, it's a mess. I will be using some of the sage today. I'll be using buffalo sage. I'm really excited for it to start growing back because them's the drugs. That's all I have left. So, and I use quite a bit of it on a regular basis. So it's, I've been using very small amounts to try and get me through the next month or so until it starts growing back. But yeah, it's about honoring our emotions. It's about honoring Grandmother Moon and the women's medicine that she carries. It's about honoring the water and the lifeblood that it carries. Because, of course, without water, there's no life. But sage is just that clarity, and it gives us some balance. I'm Cree, so I use a lot of sage, whereas Blackfoot tend to use a lot more of the sweetgrass. So whenever I'm gifting to elders, I will do that accordingly. I'll give a lot more sweetgrass to the Blackfoot elders and a lot more sage to the Cree elders that I know. But this is for smudging. It just always smells so good after you scrunch it. And then in the north, I lay out my 2 medicines up here. I have, of course, my tobacco, which I'm very thankful. This was gifted to me. I have a lot of tobacco that's been gifted to me. And because we really haven't been going to too many ceremonies, I haven't been gifting it back away. So I have like a stockpile that I need. Well, when ceremonies happen again, I'll be giving that all away. So, but I also have Kinsasa or Kennebec or red willow bark, which is also the spirit medicine. And I tried to pick a little bit more this winter. I found a nice place for it, and so I grabbed some. And so hopefully I'll have enough medicine to get me through the summer and the spring and the fall until next winter. So I'm very thankful for that. And humbled for that. And I also got enough for some extra drumsticks as well as some rattles. So I'm very, very excited about that. So again, no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you. In my smudge bowl, I have all 4 directions. I have, of course, my medicine, which is the earth. It connects to the earth because it grows from the earth, no matter what medicine you put in the bowl. The bowl itself represents water because it carries everything. And when we light it on fire, it represents fire. And then, of course, the smoke going up to Creator represents air. And so I'm going to light that. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to take off my fancy dancy earrings. Oops. I was very thankful I found these earrings. They were in the back and the bottom of a drawer in my washroom, and I found them, and I'm like, yay, I love these earrings. They're so pretty. I got them when I was out in Edmonton from a beautiful lady, Enoch, who makes these. So there's a little rainbow there with a little bit of purple dots on it. And the skirt that I'm wearing is, it has my rainbow on it, but it also has that stripe of white to honor the 7 generations. So there's 7, I'm actually going to show it off. There's 7 stripes on it, so you can see it has that beautiful rainbow to represent that everybody on the spectrum, everybody around is, we're all connected, we all are equal, and we all bring together that beautiful tapestry. It is a pride rainbow as well, so when I share 2 spirit teachings, I often will wear this skirt. But that white stripe in the bottom represents spirit, and it also, because there are 7 stripes, represent the 7 teachings and our 7 generations. And same with these lovely, lovely earrings. They actually have 7 colors. So it has the red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, purple, and then a violet. And so she has 7 colors on there, which I was like, hey, that totally matches what I'm wearing. So it was really amazing to meet her. So I know I'm getting really distracted today because I'm not feeling 100%. And oftentimes I'm a little loopy when I'm sick. So, but awesome. I have some fungus in here and it smells really good. It's been helping me quite a bit. No right or wrong way to smudge. It's just our way to kind of cleanse or to heal. Definitely needs some cleansing, definitely needs some healing. It's a really good way to focus as well. It cleans the air, so my room is like the best room in the house to breathe in. So I'm going to bring it over my body 4 times, down to the 4 directions in my body. Smudge my mind so I can think clearly, learn from every person that crosses my path. I can remember to be open-minded and curious. Always stay curious. Smudge my eyes so I can see clearly, see all of the beauty that surrounds me, everything that crosses my path. Be thankful for my vision, but also to see the unseen. So I think in our society, we have a prove it society. Like we want to see it to believe it, but sometimes you just have to feel it, and that's a different kind of vision. Smudge my ears so I can be open to hear all of the messages Creator sends me. To remind myself I have 2 ears and 1 mouth so I can listen twice as much as I speak. But also, I'm very thankful for my hearing this lifetime, especially as a musician. gonna smudge my nose so I can smell danger and cookies. Smudge my mouth so I can speak only true and kind words that are helpful and benefit mankind. Always ask yourself, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is it respectful? If it's none of those things, don't say it, don't do it. This smudge my throat. I'm very thankful for my voice this lifetime, so I can continue to give voice to the voiceless. Smudge my lungs so I breathe good, clean air to remind myself of that sacred breath that we all share. Whenever you get overwhelmed, it's so good to just take that deep breath, because that's that sacred breath that, you know, we've been breathing the same air as our ancestors, and they've been filtered through our trees, which are another ancestor of ours. And so sometimes when we take that deep breath, it's for wisdom, it's for the connection that we need. I smudge my heart so I can stay kind and compassionate and show unconditional love to all those that cross my path, my family, my friends, myself, which is really important because sometimes we're pretty harsh on ourselves, but also those that I haven't met yet. You'll also notice I'm fanning it with my hand. I never blow on it because your breath is your life and your life is precious and you don't waste that for anybody. I'm going to smudge my stomach so all of the food that I eat this day will nourish my body. Smudge my belly button because that's where I'm connected before I come into this world. That's where we connect to our spirit and to our ancestors. That's where they speak through us. This is why our intuition is never wrong, and it comes right through our belly button. I smudge my womanhood because I'm very thankful to be a woman and a mother in this time. I'm a two-spirit woman, and I'm very thankful for that balance within me. I smudge my shoulders and my back so I can carry all of the responsibilities that Creator has gifted me with grace and humility. I smudge my arms, my hands, so I can walk this red road, so I can do the good work that Creator's put me here to do. I'm going to smudge my legs, so I can walk this red road in a good way. The path of my ancestors, which guides me. And I'm going to smudge my feet, so I stay grounded and connected to Mother Earth, treading lightly upon her, honoring her with every step. And then if there's anywhere else that you need a little extra love, of course, again, I smudge my hips. I'm going to smudge my throat and my chest a little bit because I'm still a little congested, and my nose a little bit because I'm still really congested, but it's night and day from when I had a cup of tea earlier. Holy. So yes, it's definitely cleared it up quite a bit. And then if there's anyone in your life that you want to send that love and appreciation to, that healing to, you just hold them in your heart and send them that love and appreciation and that healing. You can, if you have pets, you can smudge your pets. If you have babies, you can smudge your babies, or people who aren't able to smudge for themselves, you can smudge for them. Awesome. And so I'm going to share the water song that's been on my mind a lot lately. And that's because with all of the snow melting, it's making that beautiful crackling sound. So I have a pile of snow right behind my garage, and there's one part of the day where my house is actually reflecting the sunlight onto this pile of snow, and it's making that beautiful, like, melty crackling sound that ice and snow make when it has piled up for so long, and then as it's starting to finally melt away. And that crackling sound is the same sound that rattles make, and it's waking up the earth. So we're told that that crackling sound wakes up the earth, and it's almost like Mother Earth is like, oh, okay, that's my wake-up call. It's almost like her, like, crackly alarm clock, which is really awesome. And so that same sound is within the rattle when you're shaking it. And so it's really about honoring that transition of water. It's about honoring that transition of our emotions, because in the springtime, of course, our emotions are lifted because the sun comes back to the earth and you're feeling a little bit better, you're feeling a little bit more confident, you have a lot more growth, you're seeing the changes in the plants and the animals, which is uplifting. And so it's really about welcoming back that hope, because I think sometimes over the winter especially, we can sometimes get overwhelmed, and it can seem like that cold and that darkness is never going to end. But then sure enough, that thunderbird comes back, and the rains come back and the sun comes back, and all of that warmth and all of those new days and that new life comes back. And that crackling sound is that reminder of like, we got through this, you're okay. But it's that wake up call to the seeds. And I watched a documentary on how seeds grow, and they actually make a crackling sound or a popping sound when they open up. And there's even certain kinds of plants that when they pollinate, they go pop. And so that's that crackling sound again. And it's just that natural occurring sound that's all around us. And it's inspirational. And this is why I really miss my all of my rattles, but I guess I'm going to have to make a whole bunch this year, and hopefully they just won't wander off again. So I wanted to share the Anishinaabe water song. And so this song, we go back and forth between that strong and the gentle, strong and the gentle. And it reminds us of that transition that water goes through. So when my cousin hears this, she hears the river. So she hears herself going down a river in a canoe, hitting some rapids, and then it getting a little bit faster, and then hitting more rapids, and then getting a little bit faster, and then eventually hitting a huge waterfall. And then as she goes over the edge, realizing that everything is going to be okay because it's nice smooth sailing right after that. My other cousin, who is in Vancouver, that song makes me thirsty. She hears the ocean. So she thinks of when she's kayaking on the ocean, and she's going like through some of those inlets around the Vancouver Island area, because she loves to go kayaking out there, but how the waves kind of crash very gently and kind of push her back and forth. And then as she comes around certain parts of the islands, it gets stronger and faster, and the currents are quick, and but then she kind of goes through. And so it's really about that build up, and as the tide comes in and out, how those waves become more violent throughout storms. They come more and more violent, but then at the end it calms down and everything has a chance to rebuild. And to me, I hear the storm. Of course, well, it's kind of my nickname. Well, it's not my nickname. So my spirit name is she who sings and dances with spirits in a storm. And so, of course, I've always had that affinity for storms ever since I was a little kid. One of the reasons my great-grandfather gave me that name is because whenever there was a storm, I would just sing along with it. It was almost like I was hearing a drum beat in the storm, and I would, get louder and sing louder. And when he was visiting one time, we used to live in Edmonton, in Castle Downs, of all places, but there was all of these like power lines, and I used to love, especially in lightning storms, going and running back and forth under those power lines. And my mom used to lose it, and I used to just dance around in the power lines, just laughing my head off. And so yeah, my mushroom said that I was dancing with the spirits in the storm, and so that's how I kind of got that name. And then it's just kind of stuck ever since. It's just always I'm always the one who's dancing and singing and now drumming through that chaos, through that storm, and trying to just guide people in a good way with that drum, with that voice, and hopefully once my hips start to heal, with that dance again. And so this is why I hear the storm when I hear this song. And so I hear the rain coming down and the wind blowing to start to kind of usher in that storm. And then as that thunder crashes, it gets stronger and faster, and it starts to pour harder and harder. And then it builds and builds and builds and builds until finally it crescendos in this huge, massive storm. And then at the end, it just calmly dissipates. And there's that beautiful just drizzle at the end. But even though there's all of that chaos of the storm or of the river, of the ocean, that chaos breeds life. It breeds new beginnings. And so that's what this song is really about. It's about honoring the journey that water takes to give us life, to, take care of us, to take care of our bodies, to take care of our hearts, to take care of our spirits, and to take care of our minds. And we need that. We need that renewal. We need that chaos to be able to find strength and rebuild. And so this is the Anishinaabe water song. Have another sip of water before I start. Oops, I'm starting too quick. Wishita do ya, wishita do ya day. 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 Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishita do ya, wishita do ya day. 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 Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishita do ya, wishita do ya day. 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 Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishita do ya, wishita do ya day. 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 Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishatania, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatania, hey ya, hey. Wishita do ya, wishita do ya day. 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 All right. Sorry. I do like that song. It's the best to sing with kids because they get really excited and they go faster and faster and faster and they get just jacked. So it's awesome. Oh, who am I kidding? Everybody loves that song. So, I wanted to share a Blackfoot song that I know. This is a song shared by Olivia Tailfeathers, and it's the only Blackfoot song I know. I want to learn more, so definitely need to get out and learn from some elders before they pass, because I think right now it's been really front of mind for me to learn more from the elders in this area. And so this song is the I love you song. It means I love you. It's Gitsi Gakomen, and I'm going to sing it to Na'a, which is Mother Earth. I'm going to sing it to Mohinstis, which is where we live, which is the elbow, of course, that Bow River and Elbow River where they come together. I learned a new word from our friend Latasha, so I'm going to share that word, which is Ogoi, which is water. So we're going to sing to the water, Ogoi, and then back to Na'a. And so this is Gitsi-Gakomen. And if you have a drum, please do share and, sing with me at home. Gitsi-Gakomen, Na'a, Gitsi-Gakomen, Na'a, Gitsi-Gakomen, Na'a, Gitsi-Gakomen. Sorry, I have a little bit of a sneeze there. So, a little tickle in my nose. I'm gonna talk. Oh my gosh. So, I get really distracted. So, I have two huge buffalo jawbones that are on my desk right now. So, they have kind of been distracting me. I'm trying to decide what to do, how to paint them. So, I'm in the process of. So, I'm getting there. I haven't sketched in a really long time, and I haven't painted in a really long time. So every time I look at them, I'm like, oh, what do I want to put on there for forever? So it's been a little tricky. And it was quite funny because when I went to pick them up, I was joking with a friend. He's like, oh, they look like a weapon. Like you could kill people with those. I'm like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's exactly what we used to do. And then I sent a picture to a friend of mine who's Blackfoot. He's like, yeah, we used to kill people with those. It was just really funny. So just very, very good timing. So I wanted to share the healing song as Mother Earth is coming back to life. She's really... she's in need of healing. I think it's us that need healing, actually, more than anything. It's the two-leggeds. We're starting to misuse and abuse and take advantage of all that Mother Earth has for us and think that we could commodify it. And that's not okay. That's not healthy. When I was singing the water song, I was watching a documentary and it made me really sad and really depressed. And to think that we could try and buy and sell water when it's life. It's what we all need to survive. And so as I'm singing the healing song, it's really about honoring the water. It's about honoring all our relations. So the plants and the animals, the air, the mountains, the stones, the sand, everything. So when we say all my relations, we are related to absolutely everything. And when we sing the healing song, we're singing for the four directions. We're singing for the four elements. We're singing for the healing that we not only need in our own lives, but that Mother Earth needs. All of the creatures on Mother Earth, all of the inanimate objects, they have a spirit. The water has a spirit. And so it's really praying for that spirit too, for that healing. And really for those miracles to happen. And so this song, we sing it, of course, in rounds of four, telling the four directions of the medicine wheel. But the third verse, we actually stop drumming. And in that silence, that's that invitation to ask for the things that you need in your life. We call it praying or setting intention or wishing, if you want to call it that. But it's really about bringing those things that you want and letting go of the things that you don't. And so it can be praying for people in your life. You can be praying for your pets. It can be praying for, Mother Earth or, general society, for the water, for the plants and the animals, or for yourself. I think it's important. Don't forget to pray for yourself because, if you can't be here to take care of everyone else, how is everybody else supposed to, they need you just as much as, you need you. So, and then when that drum beat kicks back in, it's just letting out those intentions, letting out those prayers, letting out those wishes to the universe so that, Creator, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever you believe in, can do the work that needs to be done. And I think sometimes we forget that we're all here, we're all connected. It's, we are living beings sharing the same air, breathing the same air, living on the same earth. And as soon as we start to recognize each other as brothers and sisters, we're going to see a lot more healing happen. And I'm hoping that with this song, the elders that have shared it with me have said, this used to be a ceremonial song. We only used to share it in ceremony. But because of where we are in our society, in our world, it's important that we do share it with everyone so that we can come back to that place of healing as, one community, all our relations. And so when we sing it with a heartbeat, because that's a prayer beat or an honor beat. So this is the Cree healing song, also known as the crying song or the wailing song. Emotional with that song. So I'm going to share I've had this song going through my head. It's a thank you song for our grandparents, for the ones who've taught us, and I learned this even though it's Anishinaabe, I learned it from a wonderful Cree person, and so this is the grandmother and grandfather thank you song. Magwitch nagaw mahona sak, magwitch nagaw manokoma sok, magwitch nagaw hey hey knock knock, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Magwitch nagaw mahona sak, magwitch nagaw manokoma sok, magwitch nagaw hey hey knock knock, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Magwitch nagaw mahona sak, magwitch nagaw manokoma sok, magwitch nagaw hey hey knock knock, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Magwitch nagaw mahona sak, magwitch nagaw manokoma sak, magwitch nagaw hey hey knock knock, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey. It's a nice thank you song, I think. I'm gonna share the Raven song actually, because the Raven has been in my head a lot. So I have a drum that's been soaking for a while. It's been outside because it's been cold, and it is really smelly because there's a few drums in a bucket of water, and they don't smell the best, and they weren't exactly they're moose. They weren't defleshed in the right way. And so I have been going outside and peeling back a little bit of flesh every day from these beautiful, beautiful drums, well, soon to be beautiful drums. And because of the smell, and because, you know, I'm taking the flesh off, I'm throwing it in my yard, and crows and ravens and some magpies have been coming to feast, because how better than, you know, beautiful that's just being thrown in the yard. And so as I'm hearing them, they're like, oh, she's making drums again. So you can hear them get really excited and squawk. And so I've been thinking a lot about the Raven song. Oh, would you ever teach what the words mean in English? Yeah, absolutely. So that last song, Magwitch, means thank you. Nahau means like I appreciate it. Naho is like you're part of me, and Suk is again, it's just really about acknowledging that relationship that we have. And Nokomis is grandmother, and I was gonna say so Nokomis is grandmother, as in Cree it's Kokom, and then it's Nosum, or not Nosum, that's grandson. I can't remember grandfather. Mushum is Cree for grandfather, and I believe it's Nosums. Nosum? I don't know. I have to get better at my Anishinaabe, honestly. I have to get better at my Cree too. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Our language was taken from us, but we're starting to get it back, so it's important. And I find that it's easier for me to remember when I teach. So, but yeah, this is the Raven song. I learned it from my cousin who, he lives in Cherokee territory. He calls himself a Cherokee because his mom is from our reserve, which is Muskeg, and his dad is from a Cherokee reserve. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, so he calls himself a Cherokee. So, but I heard this song online and I was like, I need to know that song. And so I reached out, and then we ended up talking, and then we found out we were cousins. So who knew? It's funny, it's such a small world. But yeah, this song has been apparently in our family for a while, and it's been shared among the Cree and the Cherokees. So this is the Raven song. There's a huge story behind the Raven song, but I'm just going to sing the song. Glad I only have one more song to do because my throat's a little sore. Well, I wanted to share with you, of course, the last song, the going home song, or the, this is the traveling song. And so I learned it originally from one of my elders, Sharon Prue Turner, who has passed. And she was just a phenomenal woman. She really gave people confidence to be who they were and to really believe in themselves. And I think that's truly what makes an incredible elder, is somebody who can inspire others, who can share knowledge in a good way without judgment, who just trusts that, you know, things will work themselves out. You don't have to like force anything. And really this song kind of embodied that. It just embodied the path that is unfolding in front of us. It reminds us that, you know, no matter how far we go, home is where we make it. And sometimes the further we travel, to try and find ourselves, the more lost we get. And this is really about honoring the path that's within us and knowing that home isn't a place, home is a feeling. Home are the people that we share it with. You know, I'm really blessed because I have, of course, my two boys and then the two girls who are now, you know, they're part of my home, they're part of my family, and of course the cats, but you know, they're cats. But it's really about, you know, those people that we do bring in as our family. You know, our friends become our family. Those people that we just can't imagine being without. The journey that has brought us to those people, because sometimes, you know, we have the best friends that we met because of one of the worst exes. and so we're really thankful for that. This just, it's really about honoring the journey that gets us there, honoring the fact that, you know, everything on our path happens for a reason. All of those side roads that we've gone down has been to teach us more about ourselves. And so both the Thunderbird song and the traveling song have kind of that same meaning about really finding, you know, your path in a good way. Awesome. Thank you. I hope you're having a great week too. And so this is the traveling song. I just wanted to wish everyone a wonderful week ahead, a beautiful spring. That weather is starting to come, it's starting to turn. I'm starting to see, you know, the crocuses bloom and all of those little, you know, plants starting to come out of the ground, which is probably why I'm sniffling and sneezing. But I love them anyway, even if they make me sniffle and sneeze. But this is the traveling song. May your path ahead be gentle, and may you learn a lot from it in a gentle way. Everybody for joining me this week. I'm always really, really thankful for anybody who kind of joins, and please feel free to share. I always save everything As you never know when you're going to need that lesson or when you're going to need that teaching. And this is why sometimes the songs that I share are the same, but I can share different aspects of the story behind it, because whatever's meant for us to carry with us, we will. And I want to share one more song. So this is the Thunderbird song. Like Unite said, that it's about that traveling. It's about, everything happening for a reason. It reminds us never get stuck in ruts, which is really important. And, that sometimes some of the worst things that happen to us happen for the best reasons, because it puts us on the path that we need to be on. It reminds us that sometimes those hard things are there to give us strength and, prepare us for different things that we're going to be challenged with later in life. And so, this is the Thunderbird song, which has gotten me through many hard times. Hi everyone, Miigwech. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. And I will see you next Tuesday if I don't see you beforehand. Again, my name is Chantel, and I'm very, very thankful and humbled. And please feel free to share. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Have a happy spring as everything's transitioning. Just reminding us of how amazing the world is around us, and really taking the time to be grateful and thankful for all that surrounds us. So hi again, which means thank you in Cree. Miigwech, which is thank you in Anishinaabe. Have a beautiful week.